just had a bath and had the most beautiful download about my Kundalini rising experience, which is what happened to me. I keep having these spontaneous Kundalini rising experiences, and I have now learned to work with them and practice them daily. So it's a normal part of my day and my life. My Kundalini rises on a regular basis. And how it works in the body and tethers you to the material reality, but also heals you and moves you through life and gives you insights and everything, keeping your Kundalini flowing. And the Taurus is up from one chakra to the next, and then Taurus is out the top of your head and all the way back down into your body at the bottom. So one is root, which, as you know, is on the perineum, and then it goes all the way up your body to number 7, which is on your crown. And then it explodes outwards into 8, which is the soul star chakra, which is just above your head. And for Kundalini, that Kundalini energy to come back again into your body, which you want it to do, it'll come down into the chakra that sits just below your root chakra. Some people call it Dharma chakra. It's sitting below your root chakra, and it goes down into that, and then it enters into your body again. That chakra. So if this is number 7, the one just above your head is number 8, the soul star chakra. And then that means that coming down, the one down here is either number 0 or number 9. And what this has to do with is maths and sacred geometry. It's why everything curves and spirals. That's why energy spirals in a torus, but also a DNA double helix up your Kundalini, up your spine and out the top of your head, and has to torus back into your body. It goes in torus, stacked toruses all the way up to the top. But it's energy moving up and coming back in, and it comes in a spiral. And we do our maths wrong. We have a problem with the number 0 because we can't quantify it, because it is an emptiness. It's a nothing. It's yin. And it is 9 and 0 at the same time. That's how the chakras go. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's also 0. Okay, so tonight just had the most extreme, beautiful insight into the yin and the yang, and the system that we're in, the universe we're in this binary stuff. Everything's on a binary, the taiji, 2, black, white, dark, light, male, female, matter, energy. And this is the kind of thing we're trying to write. And so the 2 words that came up for me were binary and inversion. And what happens is in the plane we're in, all of the places where the natural order has been inverted are the places where we need to remedy and fix and work towards the light. So yang is male, and it's light, and it's white, and it's supposed to be clear and transparent and, elevated. Yin is dark, it's female, it's dense, it's supposed to be hidden, secret, but also evil, darkness, but it's the female. And then I got this vision of the Taliban. I got this vision of these women in black from head to toe, being forced to live these terrible lives under this terrible system, and then the men who often dress in white, and then these men dressed in white as the yang, with their kind of faces and beards uncovered, kind of haranguing these women. That was the image I got, that in a taiji too, and I thought, wow, okay, so these are the unnatural inversions that we need to flip. And the more we flip these wrongs into rights, the more we build up towards the betterment, towards an equilibrium, a homeostasis of nature, the way things should be, divine masculine, divine feminine, balancing out. And when we have kind of a homeostasis across the planet where this is pretty much in order, we move on to the next layer of human rights. It's why we don't have things like slavery anymore. Well, we do, but in very small pockets, and it's frowned upon now. So slowly but surely we get better and better, and it reverberates out, and it gets more and more, we get better and better as we go. So we're improving all the time. That was the one thing. So we need to reverse this binary inversion wherever we find it, wherever we find something that's not in its natural order, where things are being perverted, where bad things are happening, especially if they're happening in the name of good. These are the places where we need to create a global shift towards being better, doing better, thinking better, acting better, and then manifesting better. And so that was a huge and very potent insight. And I had another insight. I'll do another video. And then I had another very beautiful insight into myself. And it was how I have, my confidence, which comes from, selling for years. I was a very good salesperson. And then studying neuro-linguistic programming, which teaches you how to talk to people, to get into rapport with people, to make people feel safe, etc. So that's part of my training, so that gives me confidence. But teaching gave me a lot of confidence because it taught me to get up and just go, go, go and keep people entertained from the beginning of class to the end, entertained. Because when you're entertained and engaged, you're learning. You laugh and you learn. Anyway, so that's part of my personality, and I kind of can be quite extra, and I'll immediately leap into conversations and try to be sort of cheery and positive and, strike up conversations with people and put a lot of effort in. And I've realized that that's not just quite draining, but it can be overpowering to the other person. So I'm being much quieter, and I'm also, because I'm meditating more and I'm going internal, and I mean, I'm getting outwardly more crazy online. I know people that are new to my stuff, that are listening to my stuff, and go, oh, Bronwyn may have lost the plot a little bit, because I am talking this way online, but I'm becoming much more kind of serious, grounded, and quiet in real life. It's very ironic that at the time when my publicists need me to have a social media profile and to be out here talking, and I'm trying to do that because with the things that I'm passionate about, the things that I'm going through right now, and I'm learning about myself and my psychic abilities and your psychic abilities, the more quiet I'm becoming. And it's harder for me to do this. It's much harder for me to share at the moment than it ever has been for me in my life. And that is the inversion. Isn't it beautiful? It shows up everywhere. All of these beautiful kind of dichotomies about ourselves. And there will always be an imbalance to right within yourself. And you need to find those imbalances and right them towards beautiful homeostasis and equilibrium for everything. And each time you do that, it gets better and better. You send out that vibration. Anyway, just a beautiful bath and insight. Okay, so the etheric technology of the chakras and how it works, and why we always want to ascend. There's always this idea that you need to get above the body, less primitive, less primeval, less carbon reality, and go up towards the light, because that's what it's all about. Why else would we be here except to experience this carbon reality? So the shadow of that is we actually have to keep descending. We have to ascend and descend as well. And it's because when you descend and you question all your beliefs about yourself, that's the only way you can actually change beliefs, because they have to happen from the root. But they get to the root from the crown, so they go down, they descend, and they descend on the yin pathways inside the taiju twos, the yin yangs that sit on each chakra and spiral upwards. And in yang, because they do spiral upwards, that's how I've been using them the whole time. They spiral upwards clockwise in the DNA helix upwards, but they're hidden. The stuff that happens on the inside of the DNA strand that we can't pick up yet is a yin descension of that ladder. And as it descends anti-clockwise, because yin is anti-clockwise, and it's the feminine cycle within, which is like in the 5 elements, it is the co-cycle. It's a control cycle that brings you down, because it has to change your beliefs at every level, and it's the carbon reality way of doing that. Just such a profound insight into this. This is a whole chapter in my Evolveology book. Such a beautiful validation, because I've been feeling quite disconnected in the last couple of weeks. I've been super busy and burned out in some ways. Happy, very happy, things are going great, but just like quite tired and lowered energy. This just really gave me a boost, because it made me see how my goddesses are also going to work. My new chakra quantum goddesses are also going to work with the chakral dural talk of the yin descent down the center of your body on the Kundalini, which is right in the center. It's up the spine, but it's the central part of your body. It's the yin. So we keep ignoring yin. That's shadow work, man. Without the shadow, there is no light, because there's nothing to compare it to. Then with the protection of my guardian angels, and with Yeshua and Mary and the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and my own personal guardian angels, I went into my light body. It was unbelievably profound. So I've been reading up on the Essenes, the Gospels of Christ, and talking about the light body. And tonight in the bath, palming my eyes, I stepped into that light body of myself, my rainbow body. It was so beautiful. The Tibetan rainbow body, and I had an insight into how the chakras work as a technology. So Roy Jibbiv, this is the rainbow: red, orange, um, yellow, green. You know, these are the colors of the chakra: green, blue, violet, and then we have either white or indigo, whatever it is. So it's the light. That's the spectrum we can see as humans. And so it's not that spectrum at all, but this is the technology with which we experience the divine, the etheric, outside of our body, in our rainbow light body. And it's coded to the rainbow in this dimension because that's what we can see. But it's actually not those colors at all. They're wild colors beyond belief. Anyway, I connected with my rainbow body, and I did a whole healing on myself, and I pulled something out of my gut that had been sitting there for a long time. And that was the the one that I kept trying to put some crystal on that chakra, and it kept bouncing off, like flipping off my body. It was quite crazy. And so I had to move all the crystals around. And what was very beautiful about that was I got a beautiful insight into what I am here to do. I'm here to teach people how to use their intuition and trust their intuition and go with it and really be more credulous, be more open, be more believing, be more accepting. That voice inside yourself that keeps on saying, yes, you can do it. Yes, you are hearing it. Yes, you are being it. Listen to that voice, because that is who you are. And then things took a really wild turn where I kind of got to this nebulous space where everything goes into, it's happened to me before, the grid, the matrix that is this dimension. And I said, can I go beyond this dimension? Because I want to see something else. I want to see another dimension. And so I went through a wormhole. And people that have seen my stuff before, I see an eye, I look at the eyes, they flash through my vision, and then suddenly an eye becomes a wormhole and I go through. And I went into a really strange eye this time, and the walls of this wormhole that I was going through didn't look the same. They're normally kind of zebra striped, well, not zebra striped, but they're striped. This was a living, organic flow. It wasn't pixelar like they sometimes are. It was really living and organic, and I went into an etheric, angelic realm where everything was energy and feeling and love and potency, and things actually move really slowly. It's a much slower dimension. There's not the speed and the urgency of the body. It's a really beautifully soft flowing vibrancy of sound and frequency and color, but it's nebulous. It's not carbon body. It's not physical. And it was a lot. It was very intense, and I actually found myself kind of almost shooting out of my body at that point. It was too much for this body to take. So I kind of came back in. Just a lot of really wild insights tonight. So much about reading and writing my book. And so what I'm going to be teaching people, what I'm doing in the world, is I'm going to teach people how to trust their own intuition and their own instincts. I taught very, very prescriptively for a long time. And because of that prescriptiveness of the nature of my training, and then teaching on top of that, so I never kind of got out of that rigidity, I found that I kept needing to check in with the body and test. And it would always be the thing that I instinctively wanted to do. And so now that I'm working much, much more intuitively, I'm working intuitively, and every now and then I'll stop and check with the body. Is this okay? Is this what you want? And it's always a yes. So it's really to teach people to work from their gut, especially when you've had hands-on bodies for as many years as I have. If you're not trusting your intuition by now, you really need to put something down. There's a lot of baggage you're carrying that's not yours. Unfortunately, the first video didn't record. And so I just want to say that I'm doing this. I'm practicing becoming psychic. I'm becoming more and more psychic. I'm a kinesiologist, health worker. I call myself an evolvologist now, and I've been working with hands-on bodies for the last 9 years and teaching. And what I'm doing now is I'm kind of becoming much more intuitive with the way I work and trusting myself more. And so things are really evolving for me. So tonight's was very, very beautiful. I have a whole lot of things that I do to get myself into the state of communion with the divine. And I get messages and downloads in this space. And so tonight, cleared my chakras the way I usually do. I use crystals and I move energy up. And I also move the yin energy down in the middle. And I had this very, very beautiful epiphany about what it is that I do and what the heart does. You know, our heart fields have come in and we're really closing we've closed our heart fields over the last couple of 100 years, and we really need to open those up again. And so what the heart does is it's a vortex that pumps, and it goes flow when it pumps, and then control when it contracts. Flow, control, flow, control, flow, control. And that's when it's in a good space and it's beating nicely. It's not out of whack at all. But what happens when it starts getting too much of the control is it starts going and then the flow is these bursts, and it doesn't have an opportunity to get into a rhythm which is gentle and soft. And so we're at this flow control cycle at the moment where control, that hectic sheng, is kind of taking over, and it's about to collapse. The whole waveform is about to collapse, and we're going to get back into flow at some point. But the heart is beating very fast right now, and you're all feeling it. Time is speeded up. Things are much more intense now than they've ever been. We're feeling this intensity of energy, and we're reaching a peak, and it's about to move into something else. So unfortunately I lost the first video that I did, which had quite a lot about me seeing the face of the goddess and God and Jesus today. It was very, very powerful. I am learning I'm learning how to speak, and I just open my mouth and I speak now. So I'll be talking to somebody and doing a session with them, and I'll open my mouth and something will come out, and it's kind of channeling in the moment. So I'm able to do that. But the visions and the downloads that I get, I'm not able to actually take in all at once. I just get flickers and flashes most of the time. Tonight was one of those. I got a massive download tonight. I'm very interested to see what comes in the next few days. Unfortunately, the first video didn't record. And so I just want to say that I'm doing this. I'm practicing becoming psychic. I'm becoming more and more psychic. I'm a kinesiologist, health worker. I call myself an evolvologist now, and I've been working with hands-on bodies for the last 9 years and teaching. And what I'm doing now is I'm kind of becoming much more intuitive with the way I work and trusting myself more. And so things are really evolving for me. So tonight's was very, very beautiful. I have a whole lot of things that I do to get myself into the state of communion with the divine. And I get messages and downloads in this space. And so tonight, cleared my chakras the way I usually do. I use crystals and I move energy up. And I also move the yin energy down in the middle. And I had this very, very beautiful epiphany about what it is that I do and what the heart does. Our heart fields have come in, and we're really closing we've closed our heart fields over the last couple of 100 years, and we really need to open those up again. And so what the heart does is it's a vortex that pumps, and it goes flow when it pumps, and then control when it contracts. Flow, control, flow, control, flow, control. And that's when it's in a good space and it's beating nicely. It's not out of whack at all. But what happens when it starts getting too much of the control is it starts going and then the flow is these bursts, and it doesn't have an opportunity to get into a rhythm which is gentle and soft. And so we're at this flow control cycle at the moment where control, that hectic sheng, is kind of taking over, and it's about to collapse. The whole waveform is about to collapse, and we're going to get back into flow at some point. But the heart is beating very fast right now, and you're all feeling it. Time is speeded up. Things are much more intense now than they've ever been. We're feeling this intensity of energy, and we're reaching a peak, and it's about to move into something else. So unfortunately I lost the first video that I did, which had quite a lot about me seeing the face of the goddess and God and Jesus today. It was very, very powerful. I am learning I'm learning how to speak, and I just open my mouth and I speak now. So I'll be talking to somebody and doing a session with them, and I'll open my mouth and something will come out, and it's kind of channeling in the moment. So I'm able to do that. But the visions and the downloads that I get, I'm not able to actually take in all at once. I just get flickers and flashes most of the time. Tonight was one of those. I got a massive download tonight. I'm very interested to see what comes in the next few days. Last night's very, very beautiful download was about how we think that we have a timeline with the past on the left and the future on the right, and so that's how we see a timeline in a linear form. But actually the past and the future doesn't exist. It's all happening in front of us. So the past is happening towards you and the future is happening away from you, but it's all happening in front of you because you're in the present and you're looking at the past It's the African philosophy of this. You're looking into the past and everything that, all the stories you've told yourself and the beliefs you've had about yourself and the world. That's all the past is. It's a story. And then the future is the story that you want to tell, the story of your beliefs of who you are and how you're going to go into the world. Now, new science is showing us that we can actually, changes we make in the present time affects the past. So we are just changing our story and our perception. And so I want you to think about this. I want you to think about how basically the past doesn't exist. It's just a projection towards you. And it's the screen you're looking at of the memories and the ideas and the beliefs that you had about yourself. That's all the past is. And the future is another screen of things, the beliefs that you have about what's going to happen. And so the present exists, but nothing else exists. And you can change your past and your future by changing your story. So I've been reading up on how to trigger a Kundalini rising experience. I do daily practice in the bath, kind of a cyclic meditation, developing my third eye using all kinds of tricks. I keep my chakras clear daily. And tonight I tried the trick where you tilt your pelvis forward and you breathe up into your urethra, and as though you're holding a pea, and then you breathe that energy up from chakra to chakra. And true enough, I blasted through the top of my head. Absolutely amazing. It's probably the fifth or so Kundalini rising experience I've had. They've all been spontaneous in the past. This is the first one that I actively triggered, and it was really wild. Lots of incredible downloads for me. The whole experience took around about an hour. The Kundalini rising experience actually happened before I got into the bath, which is normally when I have these really powerful experiences, while I was clearing my chakras before I got in, and it was just off the charts. So lots of downloads about all the things that I'm interested in, but trying this trick really worked for me. Tilting the pelvis forward and breathing up into your urethra as though you're trying to stop a pee, and then just breathing all of that energy all the way to the top of your head. It was wild.